Doo-doo-doo. Well, let's just say it feels good to be back. So, with that, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the FPRL Season 10 pre-season. After a Christmas period, a lot of rest, a lot of recuperation, we're finally back with a new year, 2025, and a brand new, that's a brand new division, because last week we only ran the 2 tiers. This week we'll open it up to the 3, with plenty of new drivers and a lot more variety. Let's see what we've got in store tonight. But it's the same old as a Monday night. Cruiser 1872 in the commentary box, but a new partnership for the pre-season, and it is very much a long overdue, long awaited partnership with the man in question. Please welcome from Tier 1, Rostery.
Oh, don't put the pressure on me like that, man. Saying tier one, Jesus. Yeah, yeah, as you said, it's a long time coming. This one, I think everybody's wanted this. Subtitles may need to be an option tonight because it's bad enough having one of us, the two of us together is going to be mental, I think. But yeah, hopefully the race can be entertaining. I haven't really watched many of the tier threes this season, well, this preseason or even last season at all. So a lot of these names are going to be kind of new to me. If don't know where pace is going to be. Well, knew a couple of guys, but I don't know how got a new few, or sorry, a few newcomers in the league, how they pace wise. So be a good one to see tonight before we start off next week.
That's a bit sprung up as well, because with this week, it's got a little bit more variety in the tier divisions. Next week is where our season begins around Australia, if I'm correct, which is the 27th of January, so be sure to check that out. As out on track, we've got one of our new drivers. We've got R. Gummers in the Haas. His teammate Josh, one of the new drivers as well. So much like Haas this season in the real Formula One, it's a brand new driver lineup. Who else do we have that's a newcomer? We've got Leonardo in the Kick Sauber, and as far as I can see, that is among 3 of the new drivers in. We've got a couple more. We'll see if they join up later on. But Major Allen is underway. It's just going down the hill at Sector 2, but we'll stick with the Haas of R. Drummers heading up towards Turn 4, using a lot of that battery very early on. Let's see how they fare around Sector 2. Still keeping an eye on a few cars ahead and a few cars behind, likes of David, Sheriff Woody, Locker, a couple of the veterans and leaders. That's a bit wide there for the Haas. Sheriff Woody back in Tier 3. We've got Godfather as well, had a decent end to the campaign last time out. Rainbow making their return. Button as well, one to watch I'm sure, along with Sid Sandwich, a Tattoo Star. Welcome back everyone, and thank you for tuning in on this Monday evening as we head off around turn 10, turn 11 now for the Haas around this Bahrain circuit. A track that usually opens the calendar for us in a way. It is the opening of Season 10 with our pre-season tonight. It isn't as major, but it's still good to get some practice in ahead of the main campaign. Major Allen on a 29.1, followed by a couple more drivers that looks like a Red Bull of Sheriff Woody, a 29.0, and there's one of the Alpines getting ready for a run. The Williams of Rainbow on a 32.0, and the Haas of R. Dummers on the front row on a 29.3.
Yeah, it's a great start for our Gummers first week in the car, especially in the Haas. Takes P3 now as Wizard just jumps in by 10th. But yeah, it'd be good to see as David comes out with a pace, first one in the 28.7. So he's definitely showing his cards early. But back to our Gummers, yeah, it's a good start off for him. Good banker lap anyway, sitting P4. He'll be looking for slight improvement. I don't know if he was held up. Doesn't look like he would have been. But yeah, definitely plenty of time to be found if David's time is anything to go by, it looks like.
Just as you say that, Reese's Pieces in a 28.4, but we're going to follow Button, the one who's made himself a name in qualifying, but just hasn't happened in the race, especially last time out. But goes in the front row in a 28.6, and that looks like the first of the opening exchanges. Who else we got? We got the Tattoo Star Sid time, which is a yellow flag up towards turn 4. That looks like one of the McLarens. That is Reese's Pieces, keeping well out the way of Sid. Josh heading around the final couple of corners, and he's used all his batteries, so that's going to cost him a little bit on the run to the line. But it looks good here for the Haas. Puts him 5th ahead of Wizard of Oz and ahead of his teammate. There's an RB in the background in a set a lap time. That is Major Allen. Looks like going for another run. Locker puts himself up in 7th. Speedy B is on their outlap along with Leonardo. So Speedy B's just went out on track there. So it's just Sid and the Tattoo Star, and then Leonardo and Speedy B. Now, Tattoo Star finishes his lap on a 29.1. So it's just Sid Sandwich left for the opening run, and then Leonardo and Speedy B to get themselves on the board as well. And obviously, with the new season, there has been some slight changes in the paddock, slight changes among the league. And I want to say myself now we're on stream. Radical, a new member of the league management team. So thank you, and all the best to him for the promotion. And keep the rest of them in check for me, please, because they're pretty tiring. But that is Sid Sandwich's time done on a 28.9. And next up will be Leonardo and Speedy B to set their laps. So Tross, today you race on the Friday, I race myself on the Wednesday. So I think it's a bit unfair almost, but also a bit fair too to say that we get a little bit of a taster in terms of like tyre wear and what the recommended strategies would be.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think would be the preferred approach to the race?
For me, it has to be the one-stopper, mediums, the hards. Ideally in qualifying, I try to just use the 2 sets of softs, just give myself a banker if there's a late safety car, which could come in pretty handy tonight round here. There's such a big tyre delta, but I shouldn't be seeing anything other than a medium-hard strategy. You might get some of the back markers starting on the hards, just trying to make something different work, hope for like a safety car in the middle of the race, gain back some time, but a lot of the front runners should be starting on the mediums and maybe hoping for a safety car in around lap 6, lap 7 to try to get in the pits and burn off some of the time that they would have lost if we were under green flag. But we will find out in by 15 minutes how it all goes down strategy wise.
In about, yeah. Of course, 15 minutes. We've got 10 minutes left in a single qualifying session, which might vary throughout the season. We'll find out soon enough, because there is rumoured to be a full qualifying session. So keep an eye out on our social medias and through our platforms. Of course, all races are streamed on twitch.tv/FP Racing League. As I'm looking at a Twitch chat here, first comment of the night is Jay Undisputed. Good evening to you, and says Trofty, pardon me, grew up with Cruiser posters on his wall. Best commentator in the league. I'm not going to toot my own horn on that, but I certainly do my best. Major Allen with a good evening as well. And of course, I read Trofty as Trofty because I'm a little bit rusty, because this is the first commentary I've done since the end of 2024, so a couple of weeks out. But I think we're all going to be a little bit rusty in terms of commentary and racing, so good to get the cobwebs out, especially around this track, which I thoroughly enjoy. Leonardo, I think, invalidated his run or abandoned it, didn't improve. I see our Drummers is up to 4th. That's really the only major change in the field as we approach the halfway stage. Sid Sandwich in the chat saying that the first drinks of the new year, so cheers for that, Sid. We'll get to that in due time, as that's a bit rude there. It looks as though the Tattoo Stars exiting his pit garage right in front of his teammate is about to arrive, so Godfather losing a little bit of time there, but he'll catch up in the end. Back to what you're saying too, Tross, today, saying it'll be a one-stop race. I don't know, because I think we might see a bit more of a varied strategy. I think we might actually see a couple of soft tyre runners, because there's a little secret to this track, but I'm not going to share. It's something that I know, but I learned from someone else. So let's see if a few others know about this. Tattoo Star in the chat as well. Happy New Year, commentary team. Happy New Year to you. And of course, Rainbow as well. Pass that on to him from us in the commentary team and in the lead to everyone. 8 minutes left to go, Cross, today, and as Speedy B is going to go again on their lap. A bit out of place, actually, is that Red Bull in 12th. Is there anyone you kind of surprised about or think is standing out from the crowd so far?
I think obviously you have to look at the McLaren up top, just over 2 tenths ahead of the rest of the field. So he's definitely the big standout. Everyone in behind's pretty close, kind of a half a tenth separating everybody else. Pretty. At the back, I would like to see, maybe Leonardo. Obviously, he did invalidate in the penultimate corner at his first run. We don't know his true pace yet. Beatty, I'm hoping he maybe gets a bit more up on the pace, try to get to the low 29s. get into the proper midfield of this pack. But then we do have our usual names up top: Button, David, Sid Sandwich, Sheriff Woody. Them four are kind of the ones you expect to be up there, and they're kind of showing that off so far.
Just following Major Allen there on their second run, and the dotted Reeby there, Speedy B. Manu's very consistent in Tier 3, down in 12th. Might just be waiting for the track evolution to kick in, as there's Wizard of Oz. Wow. I mean, I mentioned track evolution, but that is a rocket ship lap time, a 127.9. That's half a second quicker than Reese's Pieces, and no, granted, Reese's Pieces did set that lap about 5-6 minutes ago. It just shows as well, if you hook a lap up in any qualifying, even with the track evolution, it is going to show, as Major Allen puts himself up in 12th on a 29.6. What else do we have in store? Because there's Sheriff Woody, couple of tenths up in their time, a bit of battery left. Gets into the 28s ahead of the Haas with our Drummers. David still in 4th, Button up by half a second. This could challenge Wizard of Oz potentially to the light. And it does challenge him, it doesn't beat him though. A 27.978. That's 17 thousandths of a second, covering Wizard of Oz and Button. Yeah, welcome back, guys. Looks like you didn't leave.
That kind of just shows how close the tiers are. It just shows how happy we are to get 3 tiers back. Shows how close these guys can be. Not even 200 separating the two of them. What, 6 minutes to go? This is going to be tasty just with them two alone. But I can see Reese's Pieces, Sheriff Woody, they could be right up in that kind of echelon as well. So this 5 minutes that we have left, everybody on their last run, could get interesting.
Just going to follow Leonardo for their quote-unquote first run, as I think that is an Alpine there. That is Locker, who's improved up to 7th, matching the Haas's time, as there's a yellow flag there. That looks like it's Josh just keeping out the way of Locker, exiting the pit lane as the other Haas driver. See what Leonardo has on offer as around sector 2. Very easy to drift wide or get in the curb here the wrong way, as a little bit glitchy there in towards turn 8, and then this terrible double left-hander breaking downhill just gets it stopped there. There's a Salva driver, does quite nicely. Did it rotated, burn the battery down the first on a second of 3 DRS zones on this track. The first one on the run to turn 4, the second one there where Leonardo has just gone, and the final one down the pit straight. As we have Cacti in the chat saying, I am cancelled, guess who recruited him? I think that's a slight toot toot from them. If I had to guess, that is Zafir, who is among the newest member of the recruitment team. Shake-ups all up and down the paddock, like I said. A couple of promotions, couple of demotions, me, of left league management, as Leonardo down to the finish line, and that is a 28.9. That's certainly better than what he managed, but that might just be the one and done for the Salva. He's got 4 minutes left, and if he wants to... Oh, that's a bit deep. And if he wants to get back to the pits quickly, he's got to avoid doing that.
Yeah, luckily for him in this game, you can do the kind of 2 runs. We've seen that last season with yourself. You like to use up all of the soft tires, to say the least. So if he can just save his battery for this lap, I don't think he'll be able to get in and out in time. He can save his battery, go for one last go. The track evolution should still help him. Maybe push up a bit more on that time, but he does look to still be going hard on the in lap, so it looks like he will try to get in and back out.
Now he's got a hurry, he's got 3.5 minutes. It's also like Rainbow is going to go again, as Button has retired from the session. He's not going out again. That's... I don't say that. That's a bit strange, unless that's a disconnect. Then I don't know what Button's going for there. Otherwise, he might think he's got enough of a gap here from like Sid Sandwich and Reese's Pieces to just be content and stay in the front row. As Rainbow around the final corner, this might not be a good improvement. It's a couple of hundredths for Rainbow, but it's still down at the back. Godfather down in their time, but is going to go for one more run. That was a setup for them. And Leonardo has made it back. He might just get away with this. He's got 2 minutes, 45 seconds. He's going to be cutting that very fine.
Yeah,
is the Sauber driver.
that's on the limit for an outlap. He's could overheat his soft tires. That could be the lap room before he even starts it. Just trying to get to the line. You ever seen Sid Sandwich? He's just popped in his 28.5, so he's not going to be able to get in and out. So he's warming up the tires again, bringing his battery back up to 100%. He's got one more go at it on a worn set, so going to need to be a big improvement from him to even try to push on these top two with that gap that there is.
I think that's why Button's just happy to just take the front row. Wizard of Oz would do it again and just trying to stretch that margin. Got Josh heading round sector 2. Down in 11th place is the Haas driver, a teammate, R. Dummers. Starting the final run, just heading up towards turn 4. Everyone's starting to exit the pits now. Everyone's starting their outlaps. And with 1 minute and 45 to go, the likes of Speedy B and Locker are leaving this very late. And it looks like Leonardo is done. So he's not going to go out again. Neither is the Red Bull of Speedy B. So he's done as well. And there is another car in the pits. That is Sid Sandwich, who's just entered. They are done also. So that is it for them, as Wizard of Oz has made a mistake out of turn 10. What's happened there is a Mercedes. He's lit up the rears and dropped it on the left side of the track. That's... If it wasn't for the fact he's got half a second in hand, that might be a very fatal mistake. But we've seen the track evolution. He pulled half a second to Reese's pieces. And McLaren might just pull that margin back as Josh up to 5th. That's something to keep an eye out on. David starting his last lap. Reese's pieces up to the end of sector 1. And that is a gain of a couple of hundredths. But this is where the margins are found in sector 2. But he's got to watch that battery. He might have just burnt out his chance to catch up and overtake the likes of Button and Wizard of Oz at the head of the standings. Major Allen is on their final run. Godfather on their final run. Tattoo Star has made it. And Godfather looks like they're done. Leonardo's going to give it a run, but I don't think he's going to make it in time with 20 seconds to go. Looks like the Sauber at best will qualify in 11th place. Locker will get to the line just behind Sheriff Woody, and they will be the last two to make it to the line. So who's going to be the first one to cross the line? It looks like it will be Reese's Pieces, who's only up by a 10th. And this will improve his margin over David and Sheriff Woody, who are trying to catch up and take a second row start. And the McLaren clobbers that final curb and the final corner. He's not going to get the front row, is he? He's just missed it. A lot of time gained in sector 3, but I think he burnt that battery a little bit too soon there, Cross, today.
Yeah, it's definitely burnt it out too much in the first part of that lap. David up to P4, saying he was 3 tenths up through the first two sectors. He gained a lot of time in that last sector, just 1 tenth behind Reese's Pieces. Big one outside to look out for could be the Red Bull of Sheriff Woody. Got plenty of battery in hand at the minute, coming down the back straight with the DRS open. Our Gummers also, he's 3 tenths up it looks like, so he's one to look out for as well. Could gain a couple of positions as Sheriff Woody see his second split now. If he can be a big improvement, it's 4 tenths up, so at the minute that's going to put him P5. And the way we've seen this last sector pan out for a few drivers, he could be finding a couple more tenths out of this. Maybe squeeze into this P3, P4 battle between David and Reese's. Comes out of the last corner, gets the foot down to the floor, uses up all his battery, keeps it in hot lap, DRS is open. P5 for Sheriff Woody at 28.4 it looked like.
As it was, a 28.4 for Sheriff Woody, puts him 5th. And Ray Billett says Speedy isn't a quali person, sadly. Well, he's certainly shown his race pace, but he's got a lot of work to do ahead of that. As that's qualifying done, Reese's Pieces gave it a good shot, but it's going to be a front row for Wizard of Oz and Button in tonight's Tier 3 social race around Bahrain. David will be happy with 4th, I'm sure. Sheriff Woody in 5th, Sid Sandwich in 6th, the Tattoo Star in 7th, 1,000th of a second ahead of Josh, and the two Haases 8th and 9th, with Locker invalidating his final run and is down in 10th. Speedy B, Leonardo, Major Allen, Godfather and Rainbow at the back of our 15 driver field. Major Allen saying he was up by half a second on his last lap. Just didn't come together quite in time for the RB driver. Anyway, Drostery, what do you want to talk about?
Uh, um, I have a few things on my mind that we've already spoke about tonight that are that is going to be stuck in my mind. So we could do a Gary here, and we could give a scoreline update, and any Chelsea fans, God help them.
Well, I mean, Champions League is this week and Europa League too, so I'll be very excited for that. I'm on the
But
Rangers.
I mean, you're going to get an easy win, so it should be fine, I would think.
Don't don't say that. Away at Old Trafford, and I can't. I've not seen us beat Man United in my lifetime. So that's all I'm gonna say.
Well, now you're going to see it because yous are going to basically play a League Two side. It looks like the way they're going at the minute. It's just
Well,
been terrible to watch.
oh well. Thursday, I'm gonna be buzzing for that. But Wednesday, of course, the Tier Twos take to the track around Bahrain. So I'll see you on track then at 8 p.m. UK time on the FPRL Twitch channel. And G Undisputed says scenes when Rangers defeat United. Oh, if Rangers beat Man United, I'm gonna go on a bender. I might just turn up to work drunk on the Friday and just say I don't care. I am buzzing. I've enjoyed my night. But of course, I don't condone that. Be civil and be respectful to your colleagues. But the point still remains: if we beat United, I will be buzzing off every single wall in my house.
Funny enough, so will I. But it won't be buzzing.
I heard my name, Trostery, says Silverside Boy. Good evening, you mate, and hope you enjoyed your Christmas, your New Year, everyone else. Hope you enjoyed the festive period. Whereas now it's time to knuckle back in, where the league season is back up and running. And actually, on the note of up and running, I don't know if you watched this, Trostery, but the F1 Esports series kicked off just last week, and at least for a couple of folk in the chat who are interested in it, I've got to say it's been quite the watch so far. 'Cause if I'm correct, they've had four different winners from four races, and two of them have been debut winners. So I think it's fair to say it's looking good. It's looking better than it did last year. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it's kind of
And
not keeping up on it. It's just flicking it on and off. It looks like it could be a tasty one. Like it's definitely not going to be one's going to run away with that. Like,
oh no, no for me, Freddie Rasmussen's had a poor start, but it's just if he can catch up. And Zafir saying all the DRS trains until the last lap. Oh, it kicked off. It kicked off in Jeddah. That was mental with Ronhar and Berezny. That was mental. And Sid Sandwich has said that strategies are looking quite tasty. Bahrain has a surprise or two, and as I said, I know a secret, but I want to know how many others know the secret, because I might or might not have borrowed it, wink, from a certain Aston Martin driver in the field.
well, I'm just hoping you tell me this secret before Friday night, so I can maybe
I will,
stand a chance.
I will share the secret in private, but I'm not gonna share it in. Jay, it's not quite send it on full wets. It's not quite to do with those tires.
Enters?
But we're getting there. But actually, saying that though, the strategies will play its part. Because I remember in season 8, someone tried a two-stop and it fell apart right at the end. It just ran out of time. But we're underway again, and Button, that is an awful start. He was caught napping there on the grid, and that has just invited everyone to get by the RB and towards turn 1. But Reese's Piece is looking for the run as David sends it down the inside. They collide down at turn 1. David missed his breaking point, and it all fell apart for the pole man as Josh, of all people, takes the lead at turn 1. The man starting down in 7th place leads into turn 1 as it was Sheriff Woody and Sid Sandwich second and third, with the other half of our drummers into just about into third as Locke had to check up there, falls to 7th, but there's front wing damage there on one of the hasses. But Crosstrey, it looks as though there's a couple of cobwebs at the start and a couple who were caught out massively at turn 1.
Yeah, David obviously being the big one out of that one. We've seen the Aston Martin dive it down the inside, just missed his braking zone, and sadly, cars in front had nowhere to go. couldn't back out of it. We see it in the background though in the midfield. It looks like they're going 3 or 4 wide. We also seen a bit of contact between Sheriff Woody and Sid Sandwich. Both of them look like they've got away well. But look at the front. Josh already 1.3 seconds out in the lead. It looks like this could be a time to run away for him, because at the minute it looks like Sid Sandwich could be under attack from Gummers and Sheriff Woody, with the DRS coming into the next lap.
On board now with Sheriff Woody, we already see Wizard of Oz down 7 seconds to the back of the pack, and David as well getting a 10-second penalty for the turn 1 escapade, as in towards lap 2 already. Josh has a 1.2 second lead and has broke the DRS to Sid Sandwich behind them. Sheriff Woody looking to get the move done on the Haas of our Drummers, who's around the outside with that front wing damage. Sheriff Woody clobbers inside curb. Behind them is Button, looming large, as well as Speedy B and Dodfather in the background, exchanging a couple of jabs in towards turn 1, and the Red Bull wins that fight. But Sheriff Woody looks like he's going to lose here to Button around the outside. Goes the RB, and I've been told too that Button actually didn't have any HUD at the start of the race. He didn't have the 5 lights on his screen, and that explains his poor start. But in a way, it's a blessing for the RB driver, avoiding all the chaos at turn 1, and has now found himself back up into 4th place. As further back, Leonardo now up to 7th. Godfather having a bit of a poor lap here, and is now down to 8th ahead of their teammate. As you see the strategies on the bottom of the screen saying a 2-stop race is possible, but we'll have a look at the tyres, and the Tattoo Star is on hards, and there's a huge wall of red tyres, and I think a few folk have figured out a secret to this track, which I was hinting and alluding at. The softs here are not as bad a tyre as you actually think.
Well, that looks like that could be the case for Josh in front. He's 1.5 ahead now of Sid Sandwich. He's broke that DRS. So now he can start trying to run away with S1. Gummers though in behind, 1.3 seconds of Sid. He's going to be under attack now from Button, who will get the DRS, and maybe even Sheriff Woody as well. We could start going 3 wide here as we get down to turn 1. It looks like Sheriff Woody will get down the inside of Gummers as well, so that's 2 positions lost for Gummers in the space of 1 straight. So that is not what the Haas driver wanted, but there's a bit of contact though with the Red Bull. They're going rallying.
We've seen and there's Sheriff Woody behind him now. But we've seen a lot of that. Just tire face to tire face, and you just get sent off the track. It happened to David, it happened to Wizard of Oz, and it's now happened to our Gummers, who's really suffering with that front wing damage, and Sheriff Woody as well. There's Reese's Pieces making the move on Dodfather in towards turn 7. Possible to do, but you leave yourself vulnerable. Around the outside, as there's Godfather, you are not getting past me, says the Ferrari. He's still clutching onto 7th place, no word for it. As Reese's Pieces on 14% battery, still looking for a way to scythe back through the pack. As Godfather right behind Leonardo, the debutant, holding on from last season's rookie driver. So Godfather has a bit more experience, as is Leonardo taking a very wide line. Just about keeps it in bounds and helps him get a better momentum out of turn 14. So Sheriff Woody just ahead of these guys, as there goes Godfather looking for it into the penultimate corner. But he's looking very punchy here as a Ferrari driver. As further ahead, Six Sandwich has closed right up to the back of Josh. That gap's half a second and closing. Button now in that gap as well, as Sheriff Woody looking for the move on our Gummers. Godfather looking to defend here from Leonardo, and in towards turn 1. Sheriff Woody gets the move done on the Haas. Godfather goes wide, gets the better momentum out of turn 2, and gets the DRS just ahead as the Haas. He was in the 1 second detection point with the Ferrari, and it's going to help him out to defend against the Sauber. As further back, Reese's Pieces looking to make it double misery for the Sauber, and he has. So your order now is Sheriff Woody in 4th, our Gummers in 5th, still nursing that front wing damage. Godfather 6th, Reese's Pieces 7th, Leonardo 8th, Locker 9th, and the Tattoo Star, the only driver on hards, is in 10th place so far. But the top 3 have bunched right back up, and we're seeing a few mini battles amongst the field. First to third, as there goes Sid Sandwich. He's looking for it already in towards turn 11, and is going to get just ahead of the Haas. And are those softs already starting to fall off? Just 4 laps, not even 4 laps into this race, and Sid Sandwich has already made up the gap from lap 2.
That's crucial for the Williams driver. Sid Sandwich done the worst tyre for now as Gummers picks up the first of the 3 second time penalties. We expect to see a few of them tonight. But now it's all up to Sid Sandwich. He might lose 2 positions in one here with both of the guys in behind having the DRS. One guy that will be looking at this one, loving it, it's going to be Button in the V-car. He gets the DRS open. Can he get the move done as well on Sid Sandwich? He's looking around the outside. Sid closes that door. It's just Josh gets through back to take the lead, but he goes wide. That could actually allow Sid Sandwich better momentum, but he will get the DRS now up towards the run of turn 4. Gets that move done well before we even look at the braking zone, so it is back as you were before turn 1. Sid Sandwich retakes that lead pretty nicely due to a mistake from Josh.
As we've got another battle here for 4th place. Sheriff Woody getting the return on R. Dummers as Reese's Pieces down the inside. R. Dummers still holds it, and he gets tagged there by the McLaren, and the front wing damage is further compounded with a few more lost positions, and that might just be the sign that you've got to just accept defeat here, R. Dummers, and just take the hit in the pit stops. Just go for broke and go to the end on the strategy, as Sheriff Woody now has a bit of breathing room over Reese's Pieces, albeit not by much, but that gap between them and Leonardo's now over 1 second, and he's still looking at Godfather and R. Dummers as our audience of one, Cruz the Dog, was joined up for the first race of the new year. How you doing, buddy? You enjoying the action so far? It's only 5 laps in, and we've had plenty of it so far, as I'm seeing Tijim in the chat, even to you, mate, saying that guys starting on the softs have made a mistake and they will only last about 5 laps. So that might explain why Josh here is really suffering. Sid Sandwich has nearly broke the DRS to him. Button still on third, as there's a Red Bull in the pits. That is Sheriff Woody. And I think Sheriff Woody's heard the call from Tijim. 5 laps is all he, not even 5 laps, on lap 5. Both of the Red Bulls have made their pit stops.
Yeah, that's obviously a lot less laps than what you were expecting with this whole secret strategy. Interestingly, Locker's in the pits, that is for a front wing change. So he's probably seen what's happened to Gummers with the wing damage. He's not wanting to take any risks with that. Goes onto the hard tyres, hoping to try to stretch them to the end with the new front wing. Does come out last, but could come back into the field once everybody does start boxing. But at the front, it looks like Josh is staying with Sid Sandwich. Obviously the DRS is going to be helping him there, but Button, look at his battery, it's full battery. He's happy enough just to sit in behind, try to conserve these tyres. Josh gets a poor exit as we get the back straight. Button going down the inside. Can he get this one to stick, or will Josh try to hold it around the outside? Has to back out of that one. Slight bit of contact of the rear wing of the V-car. But Button up to P2, and after that start, he'll be happy enough with that 6 laps in.
Especially with the fact he didn't even see the lights go out. But Button now back up into 2nd place, and next up for them is going to be Sid Sandwich, who can he break the DRS? No, he cannot. Button just in range, and that's going to help him massively. Oh, that's not going to help him though. He's made a mistake at the final corner, and that is actually a signal for Josh and Button to dive into the pits. So now Sid Sandwich has that daylight between himself and Reese's Pieces, who soldiers on to take 2nd place, and next 2nd place in this race, as is further back. That looks like the Tattoo Star having to defend and make an overtake actually on Major Allen, who's still going on those softs. Wizard of Oz and David have actually caught up now to the back of the RB, as that is very deep there from the Tattoo Star. That might give him problems in towards turn 4. Can Major Allen respond and make the overtake? He looks like he's just going to sit behind for the moment. He's looking for it. He knows better off, and he's going to keep 6th place. But Wizard of Oz and David, they two have actually worked well enough to catch up to the back at least of a net 6th place Major Allen and the Tattoo Star, who is definitely going to go a lot longer than most of the field. R. Dummers still going on those softs and that damaged front wing. I think he's just going to hope for a safety car, or even at that, just limit the damage later on the fresher tyres he across today. But as we see the strategies unfold, who's the one you want to pick out? As there was Josh making the move there on Rainbow in towards turn 9 and turn 10, and Josh not wasting any time, up now to 9th place.
It's already what he needed coming out of the pits, stuck in behind a bit of traffic. Now he's got a bit of clear air to push on, try to close that gap towards Sid Sandwich, try to get the undercut done. But yeah, the one to look out for, it looks like it's going to be a Tattooed Star, starting on the hards. Obviously, the only one on the field that did so. It looks like he's got good pace in behind him. It's 5.5 seconds in behind Gummers at the minute. As we see Sid Sandwich actually come into the box. So that seems very early even for a medium runner.
That might actually be a two-stop there for the Williams driver. It was a strategy that was possible, but I think a one-stop has potential if you're doing what the likes of Godfather and the Tattoo Star are going to do. Just go long and manage your tyres, and even at that, both of them, if there is to be a safety car, both of them do have enough of a buffer for a double start, which is around about 7 seconds, and that gap currently 6.1. But it's now at this point where the hards will start to slowly get that bit better, and the Tattoo Star will find themselves in a much better position. Wizard of Oz and David still going on those softs that he started the race on, but David having that 10-second penalty for a lap 1, turn 1 collision, he'll have to serve some of that in his pit stop. So he's going to have a lot of work to do later on as Sheriff Woody gets overtaken, or they overtake Dunn, pardon me, on Rainbow. And next up for them to have a crack at them is Button and then Reese's Pieces, who's right behind that RB. Reese's Pieces pitting 1 lap later than Button and is looking to get the overtake done. Button's on the hard, so that looks like it's a one-stop strategy for Button. He's been boxed in by Rainbow. As Reese's Pieces look for the double, just about gets it stopped in time as Rainbow runs wide, and that's now going to invite him and Button through and get ahead of the Williams. So Button, it looks as though he is on the one-stop here across today, but how far can those hard tyres go compared to those who are still yet to pit? We're on lap 9, and the top 4 have yet made a pit stop, and the gap between Godfather and Button is about 20 seconds. There goes Godfather's teammate Tattoo Star defending from Wizard of Oz on those worn softs. The Tattoo Star will get a DRS back into towards turn 4, and this will help his teammate out here if he just keeps defending from the likes of the Mercedes and soon to be the Aston Martin, as I think David's just dropped off a little bit. It might be his pit stop window on lap 9. But as we see these tyre strategies now work, the hard tyres this early, they're definitely for a one-stop.
Yeah, we have to look at Tattooed Star. He'll be the one to look out for when he decides to box. That's going to give us the range of how these guys like Button, Sid Sandwich, Leonardo, how long they can really go, if they can go the distance, or if they're going to have to make this second stop. But we can actually see already with Tattoo Star, he's under quite a bit of pressure from Wizard of Oz. As Wizard actually tries to look down the inside, can't get it made. On the worn softs, 9-lap-old softs, and he's still being able to put pressure on the hard runner. You know, to me that means the hards are not a great race tire around here. If someone like Wizard of Oz is right on your gearbox 24/7, and it looks like you'd probably get a move made down here in turn 1 if he doesn't decide to box this lap.
What I can tell you though, he's looking from that steering wheel, those rear tyres are nice and toasty, as that's a very late call there from Wizard of Oz, and that is a very, I say, early undercut. I suppose it is worn softs versus relatively fresh hard compound tyres, which is what goes on the Mercedes, and that is another driver who's going to try and go to the end. But where will they emerge? He's going to be well behind Button, and this is the damage he had earlier on from that collision at turn 1. It looks like he's going to be out behind our Dummers in the 11th place. The Haas did fix the front wing though, so they are now committed to the end as we see the penalties for the field. David on the 10 seconds and our Dummers on 3. They're the only drivers to have a penalty just yet. Rainbow making their pit stop and is now going to be at the back. Speedy B's actually made 2 pit stops in this race, that being their second one. So it seems like that's them now going to go to the end and try and salvage something. The top 3 have yet to pit, and there is a 12-second gap between Godfather and Josh, who's having a dream debut so far. Let's have a look at the positions graphic for the first time this evening. Josh up 4 places, a Tattoo Star up 5, Godfather up 13 places just for going long in this race. Wizard of Oz down 10 places, but that is due to the collision at turn 1. A few drivers down a couple of places. Leonardo is up 3 places, keeping it steady in 9th in their debut, and is hoping to stay there for at least stay in the points for that matter, maybe in a position or 2. As here's a major fight here involving Sheriff Woody, Reese's Pieces and Button. These 3 having their own little tussle to try and catch up, as Godfather has pitted on lap 11 of the race. So that's going to be a hard strategy right to the end for the Ferrari. The teammate of Tattoo Star soldiers on to take the lead of our Tier 3 social, as his Button looking for a very late move there on Sheriff Woody. Reese's Pieces gets ahead of him. He'll jump on board with the RB as Reese's Pieces gets a rather poor run out of turn 2 and turn 3. Sheriff Woody just going to conserve the battery and use that McLaren as a tow bar almost. Charge up the battery, and then all three of them can have a go with Sid Sandwich just ahead of them by around 2 seconds up the road, and get back to the tyre graphic. Sid Sandwich on those hards and is going to go to the end on them. Reese's Pieces and Sheriff Woody on mediums might just have to stop again.
I think they're kind of committed to the two-stop along with Josh, who's just leading this little pack of chasers to the front two. It looks like it's going to be Sid Sandwich who'd be net P1 once these guys do pit. And with Button kind of still in touch with Sid Sandwich, this could be pretty tasty between himself and Sid. Tattoo, obviously, he's staying out, and so is David. He's probably just hoping for a safety car of some sort. We can serve his 10-second penalty then and not lose as much time. He still seems to have half-decent bit of pace in them soft tyres. And as I say that, he's decided to come into the box right now, so we should see him onto the hard tyres to try to make it to the end.
And that's the thing, you have a choice there to David. He's just got to take the hit and try and get something back later on. He should be out though ahead of Major Allen, I would assume, down in 13th place. He's going to have the freshest tyres of the field by about 3 laps, so he's got that going for him. He will get to the end from here. It will be a little bit tricky at stages, but he will get to the end, I'm sure. As we're on lap 12 here of our Bahrain social race for Tier 3, Tattoo Star is the only driver yet to make their pit stop, but did start the race on the hard tyres, going long, hoping things go their way later on. Josh from 7th place on the grid up to 2nd after a turn 1 escapade involving David, Reese's Pieces and Wizard of Oz, as Leonardo joins the 3-second club with our Dummers, both of them sandwiching Godfather, who's having a crack at that Salba for the second time tonight. Godfather on a set of softs, so that's another 2-stop strategy for the Ferrari driver, and another 2-stop strategy in the field, which seems to be the go-to. But I suppose though, on those fresh softs, Godfather can absolutely blitz it for the next 5 or 6 laps, and it's just going to be nothing but qualifying pace to try and catch up to the back of Button and Sheriff Woody, who's now dropped out of DRS range of Reese's Pieces. Sid Sandwich now on the back of Josh, but that gap between them and the leader, the Tattoo Star, is 6 seconds flat. And it's going to be flat out here for Sid Sandwich. It's down towards turn 1. Josh isn't going to fight this, but he's going to invite Sid Sandwich down the inside, and is now get a DRS in towards turn 4. Can he get it stopped in time? As Edo's Button making the move on Sheriff Woody, just a bit back, and is up now to 5th place, as Josh gets a 3-second penalty, cutting turn 2. So easy to do, just be that little bit too greedy, and that has now made him join the 3-second club with his teammate and Leonardo. Sid Sandwich though defending from the Haas gets the job done and is now unleashed to hunt down the Tattoo Star. That gap now 5 seconds.
That gap will be coming down as quickly as anything. I think we'll see just how much of a tyre difference we're going to have. What it looks like 7-8 lap tyre difference, fresher hard tyres for Sid Sandwich in the Williams. He's got in front of this pack now. He has been released. All about just putting in a few qualifying laps just to put Tattooed under pressure before he has to box, so he's going to be losing a lot of positions now. He'd be crying for a safety car, but crucially for Button, he's sticking just about with this pack, just outside of the magic 1 second. So he's got one corner and a straight to try to bring that gap back down underneath the second, to try to stick with these second, third and fourth drivers. Down the field, we've still actually got quite a good battle with Godfather, Leonardo and our Gummers. He has decided he's going to join the party now on the mediums. We could be seeing a move from Leonardo with the DRS on Godfather. Go back up top. No. Little Josh can't get a move done towards turn 1, so it is as you were there. There's actually a bit of contact though between Josh and Sid Sandwich. That's going to hamper their exits. Can Reese's Pieces get anything? Doesn't look like. So it looks like coming up to turn 4, it is going to be as you were for the second, third, and fourth place drivers.
Josh, he's just minding his own business now, but with Sid Sandwich on full recharge, that's just allowing Josh to keep up to the back of them, keep him honest. But he will have to make another pit stop. We're just about to make the halfway stage of a very intriguing, is the right word for it, Tier 3 social races. That is a mistake there from Sid Sandwich, and he's collected Josh, and both of them have collected Reese's Pieces. Sid Sandwich there being a bit too conservative, a little bit complacent there from the Williams driver, and that is going to be Reese's Pieces up to third, and there's Button with major front wing damage, getting caught up and tripping over the fight ahead. And of course, it had to be someone that had to pay the price for it, but of all people, it was the man in fifth minding his own business. That's a nightmare scenario for Button. He's going to have to make his pit stop, and has now really forced him into a two-stop strategy. And at the halfway stage, I don't know if you're ready at mediums right to the end.
You're going to really have to be a tire whisperer to say the absolute least. Be 14, 15 laps on a set of mediums. You might need a safety car to just help that tire life. You see Reese's Pieces get one down round the outside of Sid Sandwich. Sid tries to hold it off, but just can't do that. Sid will get the DRS on the run up to turn 4, so he will have another crack at Reese's. Doesn't have much battery to play with though. Tries to get round the outside. It's going to be tough to make it happen. Race defines the inside. Sid though round the outside. What a move. If he's got that to stick, which he has, that is a great move. And we're not even in the proper season yet, and Sid is already showing these guys how it's done.
That it is. Very, very respectful though from Reese's Pieces, not forcing him off, just forcing him wide. Keeping it within one car length, one car's width and a piece of paper. I suppose that piece of paper being a cigar paper, but still one car width nonetheless. And that's all Sid Sandwich needed to get up into second place. But still, with all that fighting and jostling in the last lap, that gap is maintained at about 5 seconds between Sid and the Tattoo Star. But of course, the Ferrari still has to pit. Sid doesn't, question mark. Reese's Pieces might have to, and he will need to get a front wing change too. He also has end plate damage on the front right. And this is now falling into place a little bit here for Josh and Sheriff Woody. But look in the background, that gap of about 4 seconds 3 laps ago, as there's a Tattoo Star in the pits. We just saw him there up ahead. He is going to be serviced by the Scarlet Scuderia teammates and his mechanics, soon to be mechanics of Lewis Hamilton, as Sid Sandwich retakes the lead of our Tier 3 social race. Godfather 2 seconds behind this lead group and is on a very similar strategy to a lot of them. But now the question is, what will be the damage after the likes of Reese's Pieces, Josh, Godfather? What will be the damage after their pit stops, and can they make it up quick enough? They've got 14 laps to make that happen, and as of right now, with Sid Sandwich leading the way, it's by far, it's a very, very difficult task.
Yeah, it's if these three are having the box, we're really looking back then to Leonardo in P5, who also has a penalty hanging over his head. So you're looking near enough, and what, 6, 7, 8 second gap between Sid Sandwich and his next kind of competitive driver on track that doesn't have to box. So it looks like Sid Sandwich could get away with this one pretty easily once these guys do box. And these guys also have damage. Reese's Pieces, Josh. So Godfather will probably jump them in the pits when they all decide to box, because I cannot see these mediums making it to the end whatsoever. But to be fair, Reese's Pieces and Josh are still hanging with Sid Sandwich, even with that wing damage. So it mustn't be hampering them too much. And Reese's Pieces might have a little look here again for the second time round on Sid Sandwich coming down to turn 1 with the DRS.
Oh my god, that was an almighty slipstream pull there from Reese's Pieces. Sid Sandwich saw him coming. That is an immense slipstream pull using the battery and the DRS. Shows Sid Sandwich wide. A little bit naughty that from Reese's Pieces, but explainable with the wing damage. And he's got the elbows out and is back into the lead. Sid Sandwich now in second, and now Josh and Godfather is in DRS range of Josh. On 6 lap old softs, there will be pit stops happening within the next 5 laps, but how quickly can they catch up? Because I'm looking here, Wizard of Oz, who was involved in that turn 1 escapade, as our Drummers gets another penalty and puts pay to their race. Wizard of Oz is only 7 seconds behind that lead group. He's only 7 seconds off the lead. Can Wizard of Oz pull off what would be a very unlikely victory? At one stage at this race, he was 8 seconds behind 13th place. He's now only 8 seconds behind the leader.
He just needs to get rid of Leonardo as quick as he can, coming up towards the top of Sector 3. Reese's Pieces, though, picks up the 3-second time penalty. That's not going to help him whatsoever. And keeping on board with Wizard here. He's got a good exit. He's keeping his battery pretty stable. So it looks like he's going to try to get the DRS of Leonardo and get this move made pretty easily down the run to turn 1. Leonardo, though, cuts right over the curb on the last corner. Slight little wiggle from Leonardo. Wizard of Oz gets that DRS, so that should be pretty easy on the run down to turn 1. And now he's up to P3 with Little George and Reese's Pieces both pitting. This could be on for Wizard.
Very well cured as the Tattoo Star goes through, and so does Locker, as Josh and Reese's Pieces have went for hard, so obviously not fancying the chances on the mediums. They'll be out behind Major Allen and a deficit of about 24 seconds. Josh didn't fix his front wing, he must have got damage somewhere. As I'm looking there, Reese's Pieces did service his front wing and is now 29 seconds behind Sid with 12 laps to go. Godfather now in second, right behind the Williams, but he has to pit again. Leonardo doesn't need to pit again, but neither does Wizard of Oz, and that gap is now 5 seconds, and there you see the top two. Wizard of Oz and Leonardo are on one, but the Tattoo Staff, don't count them out either. He's on fresh mediums. He's got to stretch him though another 12 laps, but the one-stop strategy might just work here for the Ferrari.
This, I think, all probably will come down to the teammate. It could be all down to Godfather. It could be a call on the radio to say, look, fight Sid Sandwich for all your life here. Try to hold them up as much as you can. If we can get 3 or 4 cars in this battle, that's going to help Tattooed Star just close this gap right up. We could see him in 10 laps time on the top step of this podium. Godfather, fair play to him, 8-lap-old softs. He is here to stay, it looks like. And Sid Sandwich isn't getting this one as easy as I thought it would have been, as it looks like Godfather's going to get the chance down to turn 4. Dives the inside, takes the outside though, round the outside of Sid Sandwich. We've seen Sid do this a couple of laps ago. Can Godfather replicate it? We're going to have to stay side by side. Sid Sandwich gets in front. Looked like Godfather had to back out of that one, just didn't have the confidence. So well defended from Sid to keep his P1 for now, but he is definitely under the pressure from the Ferrari.
Of all people as well, Godfather on 8-lap-old softs, as you said, and the softs seem to have a certain life around this track, which is very, very strange. But Wizard of Oz now, that gap 4.5 seconds, Leonardo 5 seconds behind Sid Sandwich, and the Tattoo Star, that gap now 12.5. So, as I say, this is going to be a very intriguing end to this race. Will the one-stop strategy hold out, or can the two-stoppers find a way? Because, as we see, Josh is still behind Major Allen and is getting a little bit held up there by the RB driver. We'll jump down to this fight. Can Josh make the overtake on the RB? And the answer is no. Is it just costing him time and any chance he has to even catch up to the Locker in 6th? He's on 13-lap-old hards. So Locker pitting early on lap 6 of this race. Lap 6, as Godfather has decided that is enough. Get me another set of tyres and hope he can get ahead of this colossal train behind Major Allen, which Josh and Button have got VIP first class tickets to, but then decide this is my stop, I want off this train, and has got to launch on Major Allen, and Josh now up to 8th place, but Button has something to say about that. He's going to try and go for a double overtake here as Godfather exiting the pits. Is he ahead of them? They're doing 3 wide and there was turn 1. Godfather beats in the curb. Major Allen is down to 10th place. Button gets the jump on Godfather and Josh, but Godfather's in trouble now without the DRS in this train. Josh looking for the overtake while he's on cold tyres is the Ferrari, but he's on the fresher tyres and he holds strong in 8th place. Now the charge is on. Can Godfather catch up to Locker in 5th as Major Allen gives Josh a right old shunt there, telling it to hurry up around turn 7 as there goes our Dummers looking to move on. David Lawface getting caught up in this train as well. This is going to kick off if it hasn't already, as there goes David getting the elbows out on the debutant, saying, "You're not getting me either," says the Aston Martin driver. Years of experience in the league, literally, versus our Dummers making their first start in the league, and David putting that experience on display as Godfather gets ahead of Button up towards the top of the hill at turn 12, and those softs already starting to ignite this charge here for the Ferrari. It will look now to that gap at the front, 3.6 seconds between Wizard of Oz and Sid Sandwich, and we've got 9 laps to go.
That gap is looking to be pretty stable for Sid Sandwich. He's kept about 3.6 for the last lap, so he'll be happy enough with that. It is actually just starting to open up, so it looks like he's just got that slight bit more pace than Wizard does at this stage of the race, even though Wizard does have 2-lap pressure hards. Maybe it could be worth considering Wizard and Leonardo try to work together, try to make a slight DRS train with them two, try to just somehow close this gap on the Sid. That gap now down to 3.2, so has Sid maybe made a little mistake, or is he just happy enough? There's no ERS, so that probably explains that one. Wizard of Oz looks like he could be joining the party pretty soon with that gap already down half a second.
Just on board with Button there, trying to keep up with Godfather, and honestly I think that's going to be a lost cause. Button having a look behind them now towards Josh, as yep, that gap 1.3 seconds between the Ferrari and the RB. Button will not have the DRS, but knows Josh is on a penalty behind them, but that won't stop them from making it difficult here for the Haas driver, as around the outside goes Josh. Button gives him the squeeze, but Josh makes it work, and now is the inside line for turn 12, and Josh now up to 7th place, but on that time penalty he will drop down to 8th. David as still in contention for a point with a clean slate as the penalties start to rack up. Button getting back ahead of the Haas, and that gap now between Sid and Wizard of Oz 2.7 seconds, so a gain of about half a second on that lap, and with 8 laps to go, Sid Sandwich might need to watch his back a little bit and just keep facing forwards as Josh is looking forwards. Getting the return now on Button as David Lawface makes the move on Major Allen. Up now into the points goes the Aston Martin driver, and Button looking for a response now against Josh in towards turn 4. These two giving us a very interesting battle in towards turn 4, and once again Button picks up the straps, tries to get it stopped, defend the switchback from the Haas as down towards turn 6. Button gets the squeeze and gets ahead of the Haas. There's a collision there at turn 4 involving our Gummers and Speedy B, as our Gummers has decided to call it on track. That is a no-no for the Haas driver. You should know the rules, and that is not allowed. As, oh, there it goes, veering out of the way, and Speedy B, a bit of an acknowledgement there to the Haas saying, what were you doing? We didn't see the collision, but I'd imagine off of Speedy B's response, he is not a very happy man.
Yeah, I'd actually caught what had happened. It looked like Gummers was trying to make a move down the inside on Major Allen. Just a slight bit of side pod contact. It had half spun Gummers, and it just, unfortunately for Speedy B, he just arrived at the scene, nowhere he could go. Luckily he's got no damage, but it has just slowed him right up. Yeah, our Gummers retiring on track. It's not what you want to see. He should know a lot better. You know, next week that will definitely be a penalty, no matter what happens. So he might get away with it this week, but next week, definitely a no-no. But that gap at the front, down to 1.7, so a second taken out of Sid Sandwich in 1 lap. So we start to see the 2-lap pressure hards start to work their magic. The gap is coming, and this could get tasty in the next 2 laps, and we could have a great 5-lap battle till the end.
Like, for Sid Sandwich, just harvest that battery as Josh getting overtaken around the outside by Reese's Pieces. Josh gave him the space, so fair play to him for that. He knew that the McLaren was there, and he was not going to give up that 8th place easy, was the Haas, but he had to concede that place to Reese's Pieces. Another battle we'd keep an eye out on, though, is Leonardo and the Tattoo Star. That gap 5 seconds, and Leonardo's on a 3-second penalty. So as it is, all the Tattoo Star has to do is just keep doing what he's doing, keep chipping away at that Sauber, and he will find himself on the podium, I think for the first time in FPRL. So the Tattoo Star making the one-stop work, and I'll jot that down on my notepad for Wednesday for my race, and you yourself too, Troster, to keep a note ahead of Friday when the Tier 1s take to the track. And the gap now between Sid Sandwich and Wizard of Oz, 0.9 seconds. As Wizard of Oz goes a bit deep in towards turn 1 to guarantee he gets the DRS, as Zero's Godfather putting pay to how good softs are this late in the race, and is up now into 5th. So Godfather having his own little charge. Could he possibly challenge for a podium? I don't know. He might run out of time. As of 6 laps to go, we've got a 1 second gap between our leader Sid Sandwich and our second place man Wizard of Oz. There's been a collision at turn 1, and that's involved Button, who's been spun round, I think potentially by Josh, but I'm not sure. What is the guarantees that Button last season's racing woes don't seem to have gone away in a hurry?
Oh, it's very unlucky for the RB driver, Button. It looked like just again a bit of side-by-side contact, another half spin, but now Wizard of Oz is tucked right in behind this Williams. He came here to stay. He's just no motherfucker on him, and this is going to be the battle. That one was for Gary, because he did have a little commentator catchphrase, so it had to be said sometime. But back to this battle, to the front, the Mercedes going to try to maybe look for a move round the outside. He is going to do it, but he will not get the DRS due to the detection point. So he got the position. Now it's all to try to defend it, with Sid now having the DRS coming down on the run to turn 1.
Very, very tactical move there from Sid to get back the position, but in both of them on full recharge in towards turn 1. This is where Sid needs the battery though to defend against the Mercedes in towards turn 2. The Williams looking behind them. Wizard of Oz is full focus in front of him, but elects not to use the battery and just sit behind the Williams. So 5 laps left to go in Bahrain, and we're now starting to see a bit of chess being played. Our Dummers in the chat, you're even to you, and a bit of an unfortunate end to the race, but still the potential was there for something. As Edo said, Sandwich, that's deep in towards turn 7. Wizard of Oz inviting himself up the inside of that Williams, but just not enough as he looked for it in towards turn 9 and turn 10. Get this stopped. Wizard of Oz, bide your time. Absolutely sensational from the Mercedes driver. At one stage, last place, is now leading the pack with 4.5 laps to go.
This is a recovery drive and a half. He's still got 5 laps to complete it, but this alone is more than what he probably would have expected after the start that he had. He's definitely still going to keep the pressure on though. Sid Sandwich in behind will get again the DRS, so it's probably going to be the exact same script as last lap, with the Williams going to get the DRS. Pretty easy done. There is a bit of traffic in front, which is his teammate of Rainbow. So once they come out, that could maybe cause a few problems. Sid Sandwich has the DRS down the inside. It looks like side by side. It does look like Wizard gives enough room. Still side by side. Sid Sandwich though will get the DRS up to turn 4. So they should make this an easy one. Dives to the inside early. So it means Wizard cannot defend this whatsoever. And down he gets the inside, just about gets it stopped. Picks P1 again, but Wizard of Oz is going nowhere. Trying to look for a move already down towards turn 5 and 6.
Both the batteries are not looking quite healthy either. Wizard of Oz on 35, Sid Sandwich on 33. So both of them having equal battery. This is now just straight up DRS games. As Wizard of Oz looking, you're not around the outside here. Down the inside is brave enough, but around the outside, that is going to be absolutely foolhardy for Wizard of Oz, who's now going to have the DRS. Sid Sandwich going left, going right, looking for where that Mercedes is going. He's going to be on your outside around turn 11 up towards turn 12. Wizard of Oz gets back ahead of the Williams, but now again the DRS is going to play its part. Tell you what, this race has been nothing in the middle, but chaotic start, nothing but fireworks, and now we're seeing a masterclass here in DRS chicken involving Wizard of Oz and Sid Sandwich with 3 laps to go crossing the line. If that's a sign for the season to come, trust me when I say this, you do not want to miss a thing. as I've been invited to play F123 by E-Razor. We've moved on. Sorry, Razor. A Sid Sandwich gets back ahead of Wizard of Oz. Clobbers the curb though. That is going to invite the Mercedes again, who's had an almighty launch out of turn 1 and turn 2. Is he close enough? That answer is going to be no. But Sid Sandwich using all that battery to defend it towards turn 4, and that seems to be the place where he wants to be. He's more than happy to let Wizard of Oz through at turn 10, just to have that DRS at the main straight, which seems to be the way to go.
And this is not the only battle on track, because the two Ferraris and the Red Bull Sheriff Woody are side by side. There's contact. Tattooed Star has been spun around. Bit of side by side contact with Sheriff Woody. So 3 become 2 now. Godfather and Sheriff Woody starting to fight for, it looks like, is going to be P4. Although if Godfather does gain another 9/10, make that a second now, then this could be the battle for P3. But we had a great battle there. Sheriff Woody tried to throw one around the outside, absolutely spent it, got it stopped in time, left plenty of room, but just unfortunate contact between the two of them, and it looks like that has ruined the Tattooed Star's night for that battle for possibly the podium.
Godfather though still has potential to get something for the Ferrari team as we cross the line for the penultimate time tonight. The gap between Wizard of Oz and Sid Sandwich is 9/10 of a second, but that Mercedes' battery is not looking healthy, but still looking better there than the Williams, who's in nothing. 10% in towards turn 1, but as long as he stays to the back of him, as there's a bit of wing damage there for Sid Sandwich, and that is really going to cost him, and that might have just handed this race to Wizard of Oz, and what has been a fantastic recovery for the Williams team, and another driver on the recovery, dare I say, Sheriff Woody and Godfather, both of them on 2-stop strategies, hunting down Leonardo to deny him a podium on debut, which so far Godfather is tantalisingly close to doing, and is borderline 3 seconds to that Sauber, who has not put a foot wrong this whole race. And fair play to Leonardo, he's making this one-stop work, and at worst is going to find himself in 5th place, which is a fantastic way to start your tenure in FPRL. He's looking further back. Reese's Pieces and the Tattoo Star having their own little fight, and the McLaren going to put pay to the Ferrari, who didn't put a foot wrong himself on the one-stop, but it's not meant to be for the Tattoo Star. But his teammate Godfather looking to salvage something for the Ferrari team. Looking further back, it looks as though Josh might just get away with a point, as David and Button have their own little fight just behind the Tattoo Star. And around the final corner, and to start the final lap for the Mercedes driver of Wizard of Oz. He had a run-in last season with the championship, but it just fell apart when it didn't need to. He looks to get that championship challenge back on track this campaign. He's not had a foot wrong in qualifying in his one season he's had in the league, but the second season curse, I don't think there's going to be much cursing tonight for Wizard of Oz, who has cast a spell among the stars of this Bahrain circuit, and at one stage plumb last at the end of lap 1 has done what Sergio Perez done around here, and has went from last to first, done it, completed it, mate. He's got a 1.4 second gap, and with half a lap to go is going to take home the first victory of the season for the Mercedes team, as down it towards turn 9 and turn 10, he's got this one in the bag, it looks like, Crossity, and what a drive to pick up that victory.
Yeah, well-deserved victory. It looks like we can't say anything too soon. A couple of corners to go, but yes, last to first. It's the only way it looks like you can do it around here. But fair play to Sid Savage. Put up a good fight, but it just looks like they have 21-lap old hards. Just weren't good enough for him in the end. But all it needs now is one good corner from Wizard, and this looks like this is going to be it for the Mercedes driver. And what a way to do it to kick off your season.
The pre-season is just to dust off the cobwebs, but for Wizard of Oz, it's going to be looking gold, nothing but gold, and a first place finish around Bahrain. Wizard of Oz wins this Tier 3 social race. Sid Sandwich will take second place, and unfortunately for Leonardo, it's not a podium on debut, but still it's going to be 4th place. He just about keeps ahead of Sheriff Woody. Godfather will take home that third place spot for Ferrari as there's a massive battle at the back, and it looks as though David just missed out behind Button by a couple of hundredths. We flicked off of that at the worst time to miss it. But Sheriff Woody will take 5th. Reese's Pieces will take a very distant 6th. It will be the first victory of the pre-season and the only victory of the pre-season, as next week things get real. Season 10 gets underway.
And if tonight is anything to go by, it looks like Season 10 is already turning out to be a cracker. What we've just seen tonight, there's been so much action at the start and at the end of this race, and not just at the front, even these midfield battles. Some guys we expected probably not to be there have ended up there and have actually defended pretty well, who stay there and grab home a few points respectively. And these newcomers that have came in have probably just showed the old dogs, you know, maybe this isn't just your turf for much longer.
That's it is, especially with the start of that race and just a couple of bits of misfortune around the paddock. It wasn't meant to be for the likes of Leonardo. It wasn't meant to be for the likes of Josh, who had a fantastic start, but a bit of a whimper towards the end. But for Wizard of Oz, from pole position, it looked normal on paper, but I assure you it was anything but that. Six Sandwich from 6th place to 2nd place, and Godfather from 14th up to 3rd. Cracking event there for the Ferrari driver. Leonardo making the one-stop work to go 3rd. Sheriff Woody will take 5th. Reese's Pieces takes 6th. Button, David the Tattoo Star, and Josh round out the top 10. Only a couple of casualties tonight. Our Dummers and Speedy B are the DNFs tonight. Rainbow, Major Allen and Locker complete the field. And Tier 3 have done their bit. That is the appetiser for our week in Bahrain. Next up, the main course of Tier 2. And following that, a sweet dessert on Friday. Our Tier 1's the pinnacle of the league. Rounding out our week at the Bahrain circuit. So there won't be any interviews tonight for our pre-season, but we'll head to the showroom regardless, if I can remember how to play this game. I've played that game that less. I've not even unlocked the compendium yet. I've not even unlocked it yet. But we'll head to the showroom, and where is the car for the winner? I've strolled past it. There it is. A Mercedes of Wizard of Oz. Our winner around Bahrain. And though not technically necessary, as actually seen the number 44 on that, that's the end of an era. Seeing Lewis Hamilton's name with a Mercedes. Nigel Peddle is in tears. Although not necessary for tonight being pre-season, it's still worth a shout out. So Cross today, despite no interviews, there's still one more duty to be had as co-commentator. Who is your driver of the day?
I mean, there's a couple there to look out for. You have Leonardo, great debut, just misses out on the podium. Godfather, P14, start up to P3. A little bit helped with the penalties, but I think we're going to have to give it to Wizard of Oz. Although he did start on pole, you did say it yourself, it was not an easy as it looked. Got taken out in turn 1 by the rogue Aston Martin of David Lowface. Had to work his way up, made that one-stop strategy just about work. Great battle with Sid Sandwich at the end, and it looked like it was probably had to be one of the best drives of his life.
And it was indeed a drive to remember for a lifetime for Wizard of Oz. And with his tail up, I'm sure he's going to hope to duplicate that success next time out. Because next week, as we've said, Season 10 kicks off around Australia. So do not miss that on the FPRL Twitch channel, FP Racing League, twitch.tv/FP Racing League. Be sure to head over here on Monday, Wednesday and Friday, 8 PM UK time, where Season 10 lights go out and a new champion must be crowned. I'll certainly be jockeying for the Tier 2 crown as long as I can, unless I bottle it again. And as for Tier 3, we've seen already the past couple of seasons what is on offer. Having multiple drivers taking the crown, and last season, a battle within the team. The two Haas's going toe-to-toe for the crown, and I think this season is going to be more of the same if we're seeing things like Sid Sandwich and Wizard of Oz jockeying for DRS so late on in the race. How pivotal could things like that be in a season, but we'll only find out when the time arrives. Wednesday night, sod the Champions League. Be sure to tune in to FP Racing League, where our Tier 2 drivers take on the Bahrain circuit before Friday, 8 PM UK time, on, what is it? It is the 24th of January. There we go. Around the Bahrain circuit, 8 PM UK time, all of our races. And be sure to check out our socials. Our X account, formerly Twitter, at FairPlayRL. FairPlayRL. Be sure to check that out. All of our social media handles are the same. And while watching on Twitch, Nightbot will drop a link to our recruitment server. We are recruiting new drivers ahead of the season, so if you guys want a full-time seat and a chance to crown yourself a champion, be sure to hit the link in our Twitch chat, or type !F1 in our Twitch chat. That'll give you a link to our recruitment server. Complete the sign-up steps and we'll get you in ahead of next week's kick-off show around the Melbourne Street Circuit at Albert Park. So draws today. For a first-time partnership, I think it was certainly interesting, to say the least, but I'm looking forward to the next adventures we have.
Yeah, it's nice. I think, as we said at the start of this, it was a long time coming. It's bad enough having one of us. Always had to have two of us. Didn't go as bad as I expected, but yeah, it was an absolute pleasure, Cruiser, and hopefully we can do this again once this season does kick up and running.
Sooner rather than later, I do hope the same. Hopefully Monkey Boy Kurt's back ahead of the new season. Keep that partnership alive. Cruise the Monkey Boy Kurt. Anyway, that's going to be it for us at FPRL. Thank you very much for tuning in and for watching on this Monday night cross today. Any last goodbyes?
No.
Fair enough. Show's over. Go home, go to bed.
Exactly.
That we will. We've got work in the morning. Anyway, that has been Cross today.
Good night.
And this has been Cruiser 1872. Thank you very much for watching. And from all of us here at FPRL, good night.